Resources Commission meeting agenda for March 24th, 2026. We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we can now just have a moment of silence. Commission, we are at the moment that we would go ahead and approve the minutes. I know you two may not have been here physically. I don't know if you saw it online or not, but just looking at the minutes from our last meeting, are there any corrections, any additions, anything that we've omitted or need to add?
I move that we approve minutes as noted.
Someone second that motion?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes will be accepted as written. Thank you so much. Items of discussion.
Yeah, so tonight we got to give a staff report. So we have a COA application, 129 West Elm Street. I believe you were going to make a statement. Yes, sir.
So I see some familiar faces out here, so I know you guys have been to the city council meetings before. And you see that they have public comment in the city council meetings as well as public hearings oftentimes in the city council meetings. So this is going to be different from that. This is going to be a quasi judicial hearing. It's going to be 180 degrees from your council meeting. The quasi judicial part, that means it is like a court hearing. State law sets specific procedures and rules concerning how the board must make its decisions. These rules are different from those types of land use decisions that you see at Graham City Council. The HRC board is limited discretion. The board must base its decision upon competent material and substantial evidence in the record. The decision must be based on standards in the ordinance and based on facts presented. For instance, tonight, the HRC board will be solely focused on taking in competent material and substantial information and evidence that shows whether or not the structures proposed to be built or placed in the new park on West Elm Street are compatible and suitable with what is presently located in Graham's historic district. If you are speaking as a witness, please focus on the facts, standards, and not personal preference or opinion. This meeting is open to the public. However, it is not a public hearing, and participation by the public is limited. Parties with standing have rights to present evidence, call witnesses, and make legal arguments. Parties are limited to the applicant, the local government, and individuals who can show special damages. Other individuals may serve as witnesses if the board needs to hear expert testimony or opinion testimony. They'll need to hear from experts who have to be qualified. Parties seeking to be treated as having standing will need to show the board that they have suffered some special damages. What the board will be looking at is your proximity to the park, how close you are to it, whether your property values have gone down, and other secondary effects, which would be, something like light, noise, not wastewater, but runoff water, parties. So if you qualify and the proximity alone is not enough to give you standing, if you show your property's devalued and you have standing, then you're going to have like an appraisal or some kind of evidence that the property value has gone down. So, and if you are found to have standing, then you have the same rights that the other parties have. You can call witnesses, you can cross-examine witnesses and present testimony. Parties who do not qualify as having standing can, at the discretion of the board, give evidence. Now, that evidence still has to be competent, material, and substantial. It can't be opinion. Note, if a witness fails to provide the above evidence and strays off topic in their testimony, the board could stop them from testifying further or direct them to get back into relevant evidence. Tonight's hearing is about the new park on West Elm Street and not about the old park. The testimony provided regarding the old park is inadmissible and deemed objected to for the purposes of this hearing and noted for the record. Any other inadmissible evidence is deemed objected to for purpose of this hearing and noted for the record. Any documentary evidence is certified or recognized by a professional is admitted. Any evidence that is not certified from or recognized professional is not admitted. At this time, the secretary of the board will administer the oath of individuals presenting the staff report and applications.
The applicant will now present evidence and legal arguments in support of the request. As a reminder, any evidence must focus upon the request's capability with the historic
Right.
district standards.
Well, so the staff just got sworn in as well as the applicant, but before the applicant provides his testimony, I think it'd be good if we could provide the staff report as well, since we included that on the
Okay.
agenda.
Well, we are now in a public hearing. Are you going to present your report?
So first of
Oh,
all,
I'm sorry.
yes, ma'am, it's all right. We'll help y'all out a little bit. So we need to open up the public hearing first from you all. Then you'll call on the staff essentially to read our staff report. After that, we'll call on the applicant. So if you'll ask for essentially a motion to open the public hearing, we'll go ahead and get started.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to open a quasi judicial public hearing?
I move so.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, so beginning with the staff report, the applicant tonight is requesting approval of a certificate of appropriateness for the following area located at 129 West Elm Street in Graham, North Carolina. The owner of this property, that being the city of Graham, wishes to convert a public parking area into a new park. This proposal was approved by City Council during a special meeting on February 2nd, 2026, with Stewart Inc. chosen to provide engineering drawings and concept plans. These include a renovated parking area with green space, a pavilion intended to be converted into a music venue, and landscaping. This is considered a major change requiring a COA review and approval by the Historic Resources Commission. I've also included sections of the handbook included in the Historic District Design Manual, which might be helpful to the commission when making their decision.
Thank you, sir. We are now in a public hearing for COA 2603. Staff, will you please present your report on COA 2603? And before you start, Ms. Debbie Jolly will administer the oath to swear in the testimony. But
So
that's what you
yes, ma'am.
just got
We got
doing.
staff report on that.
Okay, right. So you can please
All right.
state your name and address.
Thank you, Chair Baldwin. My name is Aaron Holland. I'm representing the city of Graham, 201 South Main Street. I didn't realize Jonathan was going to read as much as he did.
I
but-
didn't either, but that's
But
okay.
I'm glad he did because that did cut a lot of out what I was going to bring up myself. But he did cover somewhat how the city council at a prior meeting voted to convert a parking lot that's located off of West Elm Street. The parking lot is adjacent to the Roasted Coffee Depot, and I think the address was 129 West Am, if I'm not
Yes, sir.
mistaken. Council also directed staff to seek qualifications via an RFQ to design firms to facilitate this park. The selected firm, Stewart Inc., is an architectural and engineering firm. They did provide two concepts that city council considered at a prior meeting as well. The one that you have before you, I think was called the Green, was the one that they selected to move forward with.
Okay.
Having said that, the park itself is an allowable use in the zoning area that it's located. However, being that it's located in the historic district is why I'm here tonight to seek a certificate of appropriateness from the commission in order to erect the pergola as shown. And if you don't mind, Jonathan, going to the site materials page. Thank you. So in the legend section of this site materials page, you can see a list of the items that are proposed to be located on this site. In particular, for the COA consideration, we have the pergola, which is a new pergola that would be erected with brick columns and metal roofing. The hope for this is that we can actually utilize this space for multi-purpose use, not only for gathering space, but also for future performances that someone could utilize whenever they're putting on events. We also have brick paving walkway that's around the perimeter area of this property, as well as you can see the benches that are brick base with concrete tops that will also fit in well with the location, as the brick and the concrete are similar to that, which is already located in the downtown area already. The lawn area, of course, would be a synthetic lawn area, as well as the metal lights that you can see. I'm not sure if you can see on that page, but we do have a closer view on another page. Jonathan, if you don't mind scrolling. Thank you. You can see the pole light that also incorporates the string lights, primarily for HRC consideration. It's mainly the pergola, the brick, and the benches. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have for me.
Okay, thank you. Commission, are there any questions about the facts that he just stated? The materials that's on the application? The
Yeah.
certificate of appropriateness?
How will the lights be controlled?
So they're going to have probably similar to how our other parks are, where they're going to be timed. So we would have that set up very similar to that. The string lights might be a little different. Those are somewhat temporary in nature. You have those up certain times of the years. It may or may not be something that you would want to have up year round. But as far as the pole lights, I would think those would be timed. And one thing I did leave out, the shade trees along the perimeter. That's another item that would require HRC approval for the shade trees. Obviously, we would want to run that through our horticulturalists, because they would have to tell us the best trees to plant there. We wouldn't want to have a situation, and I hate to admit, in other areas that we have the wrong trees planted and they've buckled the sidewalks, or they managed to get their roots into our sewer lines and water lines. So we definitely want to make sure whatever shade trees we put up would be consistent and work with the area as well.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
So I had a question about the new roofing material. According to what we have here in front of us, the roof of a new building should relate to the roofs of neighboring buildings in type, pitch, and materials. Roofing materials should be compatible with those of existing structures. Does this fit that criteria? And if not, What might be the next steps?
Yeah, the pitch of the building materials or the roofs and the buildings around it are all flat.
Mhm.
So this would definitely not match pitch of the buildings as what is in our guidelines.
Described in the handbook.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what was thought to be maybe the best design for that particular pergola. However, could we go with a different pitch? Absolutely. Could we get them to design something that has more of a flatter roof? Absolutely. I mean, there were other renderings that had a flat roof. I think the conceptual that you have here maybe lent itself to where it's standing alone, it kind of gives it more definition.
Yeah.
But if it's something where HRC feels that a flatter roof for a structure that sits alone, separate from other buildings would be better with a flat roof, we absolutely can get them to change that to that.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
I can see like a lean-to kind of.
And the other renderings did have that. So we do have concepts
Yeah.
that showed,
I think I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do have that, so we probably want to bring that back and just maybe I think at this point, it wouldn't have to be a major thing. You could maybe take it through staff. And then if they don't have any problems with the dimensions, and if it fits the dimensions, then they would bring it back to us. And you can make your presentation back to the board. But we would definitely have to have the dimensions and the materials, everything. If it's going to be the same company, same materials, we would still have to have everything written up for that type of roof. So we couldn't go off anything that's presented tonight. We would have to have all new drawings and specifications. Does that make sense?
well, I mean, we can go off a direction from the commission. I mean, if
I'm
that's,
thinking that's what we are hearing because it does not fit within the criteria or within the existing and around that area. I don't know what it will take away as far as visibility, but just when it reads that it must fit, then we say, okay, so it doesn't.
But we could approve with modifications, is that correct?
With
yeah, I
Yeah, you
mean,
can approve
yeah.
it with
I guess
conditions.
that's what I'm getting at is that, the
Make a
board,
recommendation.
the board can direct staff to, I mean, with your approval,
Yes,
if you go that route, you can approve it, and I don't want to tell you what to do. That's not
No, no.
why I'm here. But you can tell us what you want there, and we can do it. If you want a flat roof, then we can do a flat roof if the material, there are metal roofs in the downtown.
yes.
So it is consistent with other roofs in the
The
downtown.
material seems to be okay.
Right.
I think it's just the arch
The pitch.
and the
Pitch.
pitch of the roof is what we are actually discussing.
Mhm.
I think your materials looked fine. Did anybody have any discrepancy with that? When I looked at it earlier, I didn't see a discrepancy with that, but I did have some questions about the pitch because I knew it wasn't. And I went down and someone drove me down there actually, and I just sat there and kind of looked at it and just kind of envisioned how it would be.
Mhm.
I love it, but I don't think it's going to fit in.
Mhm.
Not at that pitch, but then again, we would hear back from the board if that's it. But I think what you'll do is just go and you already have probably another proposal, estimate, and just include the dimensions, the materials and everything like you did for this one. And then we'll bring it back unless you have it tonight.
Well, I'm sure, we have them in our emails. So it's not a problem
Okay.
for us to be able to show, because it was on the council's agenda.
Perfect.
So it's
And we
not,
don't have to deny it just based on that. We can just say contingent upon us receiving it. So it's not like we're denying anything tonight. We're just saying,
Can we see that? Can we see
Mm-hmm.
those renderings with it at a different pitch?
yeah, it's on our server. I can pull it up. It's not
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could try
so-
and find it.
I think it's important to note as well, and I think this is kind of what we're kind of circling around here. And of course, there's a lot of testimony still left to be heard, right?
Mhm.
Is essentially what processes look like if it's the pitch aspect, right? You do all, if we can, of course, try and pull something up currently here right now. If it's the pitch, if you would prefer a flat pitch, that could be a part. If it may be come down to that point, You know, if you are like recommending approval, essentially, you could approve it with the condition
That's
that
right.
this pitch, but that there's no coming back in front of you all, is
Right.
essentially where I think that might be you saying, bring it back and we'll take another look
The
at it. But
staff, I think you guys can look at it from that point.
no, ma'am. So you all have the ability and authority to approve certificate of appropriatenesses with applicable conditions.
Mhm.
That being stuff that is specific to ordinances, site elements, things along those lines. So if you can approve it, or if you do approve it with the condition that the pitch roof be flat,
Yes,
then they would not have to come back in front of any of us. They'd have to show it.
perfect, okay.
There-
There it, hit, yeah, go back, there it is, uh-huh.
So essentially, it would be that, except against the area that it's at, it would just be turned in the same position as the
Yeah,
other.
Mhm.
I didn't
Yeah,
like
because
that.
it's shown in several of your, publications.
Yeah,
It's a flat roof.
it was one of the yes, ma'am. It was one of the options that was presented to council. But of course, you know, we have the pitched option as well as the flat option.
Fantastic.
I
Um,
guess what I'm thinking is something like long leaning back.
Mhm.
Because all the roofs fall from front to back. So I'm thinking that
Yeah.
that roof should also fall from front to back.
Yeah, but if you look at where it's going to be,
Mm-hmm,
it'll be,
mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
y- I mean, it could pitch back a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, we could, I mean, we could stipulate that, sure. It wouldn't be a very big pitch.
And we also, I mean, there's time for deliberation once the
Yeah.
hearing ends as well. So, I mean, if you want to take some of these comments down
Yeah.
and that way, you know, there's Aaron's still here, of course, talking. I mean, there's some other things that might come into
Yeah.
play whenever other members might come up and speak. So
Yes.
just a thought.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns while we have,
Yeah, the fake grass, would that possibly be switched to real grass?
If that's what the commission wants, I think they went with the synthetic, the turf,
I
basically.
get it.
Yeah, but obviously, the maintenance of it is probably going to be the challenge because we assume that this would be a heavily used space. But given that, if that's a requirement to be able to have it there, obviously, that would be
It-
what we would move forward with.
It's definitely what we prefer in spaces is grass over anything else. It doesn't say that we can't do turf,
Mhm.
but it does say preference is grass. So it's something that we can talk about and see. I just want to throw that out there as a possible issue.
Absolutely.
and it would just be put in the regular workflow for the city workers to cut it if it's real grass as opposed to the turf.
Correct. And it's, I guess the concern I did have was that, you know, you have to water it, you have to do a lot of stuff to it. So there are gonna be opportunities that won't be available for people to use the park because it's gonna be wet grass, especially during your summer months, whenever you're gonna have to probably have a lot of watering of that lawn to keep it alive, keep it green.
Mhm.
In doing so, you're probably gonna limit the ability to be able to use the grassy area, which probably would be the time that you would mostly see people
Want to use,
out there, right? So, that's the reason I think the turf, the synthetic turf was considered as the option to go with, just because it's a year-round,
Facility.
yeah.
Can I ask a question about planting? I know that around Graham, we have a lot of native planting.
Yeah.
Is that something that we're gonna try and then stick with?
Everything but crepe myrtles.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think crepe myrtles are a
You have a
no-go.
list? I mean, like, are we looking at like yarrow and,
So our horticulturalist has been working with the design firm to sort of get a similar look here, if that's what the commission likes, if that's what you like here. If there's a type that you would prefer to see other than that, we can take that. We just want to make sure it's something that would be sustainable and won't instantly die on us. I would say, and I would say to anybody, we have probably the best public maintenance department around.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But even with some of this landscaping, we have to be very specific and particular with what we put out there
Absolutely.
to make sure that it stays looking nice the whole time. So,
I don't have a problem with the turf. And just thinking about it, when we would have to take it down for the watering and the reseeding and all of that, it's going to be your most popular times for people to enjoy the park. So I'm fine with the turf. But we'll
We can talk-
close
yeah,
this
talk about that.
session once we have any other comments, and we can talk about that amongst ourselves. But we, thank you for, do you have anything else you'd like to present or
I've
any
got
other
more, I've got
questions?
more, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So the parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
let's move into that. Do you have the picture of the parking, of the overhead
Yeah,
view
right
with
here.
with the parking lot? Yeah, right there. Okay, so, it's currently set up to come in where the park is and go out where the new entrance will be.
Correct.
So it'll be switching to going in from,
Maple.
from
Maple.
Maple. So where would the out be?
So that's what we're working with the attorneys, because there's a, if you see a car that's
Yeah.
in the north
Yeah,
west corner there, that little drive aisle there, the city, we found the deed where the city's is supposed to maintain that space. So we assume that there is that opportunity that we also have a right to it being an adjoining property. We just want to make sure we're clear on that, but that would be the flow.
so right next to the other building or through their parking lot.
Right, camera jockey, I don't know which one, Jonathan, you see up there, the
That's-
car at the very top right? Yep, right there. So you would come off of Maple and exit there, turning left, going back towards Maple.
Okay, so on that little kind of side street.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, I don't think it's a problem on my part. I mean, there is flow there, so.
The parking lot where DeLitto's law firm is that a private?
It's private.
It is private.
Yeah.
Mhm. And if there's an opportunity that we can work something there with them as well, we would want to seek that as well. Obviously, that's a private parking area, so there's very, very, very little that we can say about that.
And we're not infringing on his property whatsoever.
No, sir.
Is there any property that we're infringing on?
No, sir.
Okay.
Everything is contained within our property lines.
Thank you.
I will say, if you can go back to the mural, there was a question that I know the city received about the mural. That's not our property. That's, so
So if it isn't painted, then
well, I
gray like it is.
well, I think what they were trying to show was, because if you didn't have anything there, you would just have sort of this blank white wall. So it's kind of hard to see your definitions and site elements. They put this psychedelic picture up there to kind of give some color blast. Now, if there's a chance that the city and the property owner were to come to some partnership to be able to do something there, obviously it would have to
It would have to come back
have
to
to come back to you guys.
before, yeah.
That's correct. I'm willing to bet you wouldn't go for that look, but we would have to come back with anything if we were to go there.
Absolutely.
And go ahead, Cindy.
I have one more. Are you gonna be able to match the brick?
Our goal is to get the same brick. Obviously, we know where we can find very similar brick. The problem that you have is that because some of the bricks that you see downtown have been out for years.
Yes.
So even if you found the same place where that brick was manufactured, it's going to have a different hue to it only because it hasn't aged. So we're going to get as close as we can, but our goal 100% is to get that same type brick, if not very, very similar to it, just so we're consistent with the area.
Who owns the Roaster building, the Roaster Coffee? Does he own it building or is he renting that?
I'm not sure.
Right here.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
your name?
So currently they'll have an opportunity to speak. Right now,
Gotcha. Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll call for the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not at that point yet. Okay. So are there any other questions pertaining to Mr. Holland's presentation tonight?
Give us 1 second, just to make sure.
Okay.
I think the trees are. Mm-hmm. I don't have any other
We
questions.
can put it in our,
We're not infringing on, we're not infringing on other properties or stuff like that.
But like, that's.
I think I'm okay. Are you good?
Okay, ma'am, you okay?
Forward into our discussion. Next.
You guys okay?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we're good.
Everybody's okay? Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank
yeah.
you. We look forward to
Thank you, Erin.
working alongside of you and hopefully making this happen for you. Are there any other persons that would need to now, the floor is now open for any party who wishes to present their testimony. Once again, to act as a party, an individual must have legal standings. Is there anyone else here with legal standings that'd like to present their testimony? Okay. Oh, okay, sir, if you please come forward.
That's what-
You'll need to swear him
And
in.
if you please, oh, no, so you'd have to come around and be sworn in. Very good. Good questions.
Well, another picture. Make sure that there's gonna be maybe trees. We just don't know.
Okay, sir, if you please state your name and address and how would you fall into the category of having legal standing?
Yes, ma'am. I fall in several categories.
Okay,
My name is Tom Boney.
Uh-huh.
With the Alamance News.
yeah,
We own the property directly across the street from the proposed park site,
yes, sir.
114 West
West
Elm Street.
Elm Street. Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, my original purpose in coming tonight actually was to mainly ask some questions about what I think are some omissions in the city's presentation, which is basically,
Yeah, they need to make a motion to.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, we're still, we're waiting on your explanation of legal standards, and then we'll make a motion to determine
All right.
whether or not if your comments can be heard.
Well, my first areas are part of what Mr. Coleman mentioned earlier, which are some legal issues,
Mhm.
which I need to raise with the commission, which I think are very serious issues. I do not believe this hearing has been properly advertised. I do not believe the city gave adequate notice under the statutes of North Carolina, nor under its own ordinances. If I could, just on that point, Madam Chairman, I would
So we
point out,
need to,
the statute requires.
okay,
Just- yes, sir.
can you just hold one moment for me, please? Just-
Sure.
If you just please hold one moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah, so we still haven't decided whether or not if you have standing or not. So that's
Well,
what
ma'am,
we're
I
trying to.
think with regard to the legal issues, anybody would have standing to raise those. The
Not
procedure.
during this hearing.
Yes,
Not during this hearing is not for just
ma'am.
public comment in general.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
if you want to
No, ma'am, it's
adhere
not
to the guidelines
It's
that
not
we've
public
set
comment.
forth, then we're more than welcome to hear you. Unless you can do that, then we just can't go and just say, you have the right to do this and the other citizen does not. We have to be consistent with what we're going to do here tonight, and we have provisions in place, and we will see them out. Unfortunately, everybody's opinion is going to be a little different tonight, and we understand that. But we have to go through this meeting the way it was set. And I'm just looking for you to tell the board, not just me, the entire board, and let us understand how you have legal standings. That's all we need to hear for now. And then once we determine that you do have those, or we don't determine it, then we will make the next step. But right now, that's what we're looking for. Not your personal opinion, because that was read earlier by the attorney. when we opened the meeting, and you were here. So if you
And-
have any questions about what we're doing, we'll be more than happy to pause and answer those for you. But we have to go according to the way the agenda is set.
Yes, ma'am. And perhaps I should have raised those objections at that time, but that did not.
Yep, that would
appear-
have been appropriate.
Well, that did not appear to be the way the board wanted to handle things. So
Well, we're definitely trying to go the way that the board has proposed that this meeting should go tonight. So if you just adhere to what we're asking, I think we can move forward unless you don't have legal standings, because we have to get on with the meeting and we have to follow the agenda as written. It was written by someone other than myself, so I've been going by what's here, and that's what I'm obligated to do in this.
proximity, I'm directly across the street. Obviously, in your examples that the attorney read, all of them were past tense, and none of the effects on us would be past tense yet because the park obviously hasn't been built. I would definitely have concerns about access to parking since we use that parking lot that's proposed to be closed. The front part, which is proposed to be closed, we use that frequently because parking out front is often filled up on the street parking. So that would be that dimension, or at least one of those dimensions. And in essence, in terms of its business impact, other customers who are seeking to come to our office would also be adversely affected by not having access.
So the parking and what you're discussing is something that's been in existence for years. The Alamance News has been there for quite a long time now. Would you agree?
Sure.
So I don't know how we would fold that into what we're discussing tonight, because parking is not what we're discussing
Yes, ma'am.
tonight, but I know there's going to be,
You're proposing to strike a parking lot with 20 parking spaces.
I understand. So is this what you have an argument about, is the parking, or is it?
I have many more than
Because
that.
it's close proximity to your business?
Close proximity, parking, and the legal basis for this hearing. Those are my key areas.
So let's close the meeting. Okay. We just need
No,
to.
you just need to make a motion on whether or not. he wants to-
Before, no. There's no getting close.
Oh,
All
okay,
an open meeting.
okay.
It is up for
Well-
you five to deliberate and make a motion on whether or not Mr. Boney has standing or not.
Okay.
And that you need to
So
require a
we'll do
second.
that now. Okay.
Into the mics, please. No,
To
ma'am.
the mic.
And
Okay.
everybody, stay in your,
In your seat, okay.
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
There's no
so much.
small gathering.
Can I get the reading of the standing again? Because just because this is kind of new for us. Thank you.
The standing as to whether or not you can make comments or provide testimony or cross-examine or call witnesses is that you have special damages. Special damages are those damages which are special to you and not the same as the public at large, not the same damages they have. So you're looking at basically, one of the aspects is proximity. That alone is not enough to give somebody standing. You also have to look to see if their property values have gone down. And there are ways to do that, you know, prospectively to see that. And usually what you're looking for there is not just a general opinion. You're looking for some kind of empirical evidence, some kind of appraisal. There are secondary effects that you can look at. You can look at parking, you can look at light, noise, water runoff, any of the other things that may come into play in deciding whether someone has standing or not.
Can I, I'm
Yep.
sorry, I was going to see, can I see if I've got clarity on just that first part? Are you, first off, just looking at the loss of parking spots that would then impact your ability to have people come in and out of the newspaper?
Both that and for our own staff.
Okay, so staff
including myself.
parking, and yeah, because that, you're talking about filling up along the two, on that main road, correct?
West Elm Street, yes, ma'am.
So how many spots are we losing in that parking lot? And what
26.
was once the parking lot?
25,
25, 26.
Oh,
25, 26.
So a lack of 25, 26. Do we have concessions for parking for the loss of 25 parking spots?
The plan on that's on the application states that they would have about 28, maybe 29 parking spots. It says 25 in the rear and 23 street
And
parking
it's
spots.
free parking
So the final plan would still have close to 30 parking spots. I
available.
think. Huh?
But a
And again,
reduction of
uh,
20.
If I may interject, I think it's
Yeah.
really important right now to establish the standing
Yeah,
aspect.
yeah. that's
And
what-
then,
what I'm
because
trying
once
to
we,
do.
if we do establish that Mr. Boney has standing, that allows
Just
Aaron,
not-
the applicant, to come back and provide his rebuttal on all of these things
Right.
as well. So if
Yeah.
y'all want to, again, deliberate, Mr. Coleman has gave you all the definition
Okay.
of standing.
I just personally don't see where. I don't, I myself, I'm making my vote known is that I don't see where there's any standings here. I think every citizen should have the right to park wherever there's ample parking downtown. I don't think we can limit parking spaces to say this goes to this. I mean, you don't want anybody parking directly in front of your building for 2 hours, more than 2 hours. We do have a limitation what the city has a citation for. Other than that, we cannot just make rules tonight for who parks where and when. So I'm saying, for my opinion, based on this, that he does not have standings. Anybody else like to vote at this time so we can get?
Yeah, I don't see special damages. I don't see anything that's different from what anyone else would lose.
Yeah, I think everyone downtown will lose parking spots.
Yeah.
That's evident. You can't deny it, whether
Yeah.
it's 25 or 28. I think everyone downtown and most of the people in this audience are here to talk about parking. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's special in that
Yeah, it's
respect.
not special.
So that 3, you hear from you, ma'am?
Andy?
How do you feel?
It-
4,
In the
Again,
mic.
no,
In
you
your
need, you
microphone.
need to call,
Yeah.
somebody needs to make a motion in
Yeah.
this regard. You're not polling everybody.
No, yeah, we're not,
Somebody makes a motion.
well, we haven't all had an opinion.
It,
We have to hear from her, right?
yeah, well,
well, we don't
you
have,
can make, if somebody makes a motion.
I make a motion that we go ahead and vote on this.
Okay, I second the motion. All in favor?
No,
When you make a
we,
motion,
yeah.
listen
I'd like to
There-
make,
yeah.
Back.
I'd
Yeah.
like to make a motion
Thank you.
on saying Mr. Boney's, the issues he has is not worth hearing tonight.
Sufficient for legal.
He didn't have
standing.
standing.
He doesn't have
Legal
legal standings to hear tonight.
A second.
All
All
in
in
favor?
favor? All opposed?
Aye.
Thank
Wait,
you.
wait,
Okay,
okay.
okay, so 1 to 4.
In favor, yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, Madam Chairman, I need to raise, though, the issue of the legal standing of this hearing. That is something that the attorney did outline at the beginning of the description as being one of the issues that can be raised. The state statute requires that notice be given 10 to 25 days before this hearing. The notice that I received is postmarked March the 17th, which is 7 days ago. That is inadequate based on the statute. But more importantly,
What was the date of your letter?
the postmark date is March the 17th.
Again, you all have established that there is no standing
There's no-
essentially.
No,
And
I can
on a
answer different basis, which is the legal aspects of this, aside from the part.
That's,
And again, I mean, if I will, again, so in regards to that, I'll at least try and answer it the best that I can currently. Is I think what he is currently reading off is a requirement for public notice for special use permits, normal legislative hearings, anything else along those lines. Inside the development ordinance for COA applications, only 7 days is required for public notice to be sent out to surrounding property owners. Even in that regard, I think it requires maybe even 100 feet that we send out to everybody. But I think we even extended it out to 500-600 feet. That was also inside of our development ordinance.
Yes, sir. You did.
In my opinion and sworn testimony, we did what we had to do by the development ordinance.
good,
But I
thank you.
understand,
sir.
Thank you.
however, the attorney, if I understood correctly, described this as a quasi-judicial proceeding.
Sir, I'm
I-
going to have to ask you to take your seat at this time. We have already determined that you do not have standings.
Ma'am, I'm trying to raise a different
understand.
issue that the attorney said at the outset was one of the issues that did give people standing, which was legal questions. And he stated that this was a quasi-judicial hearing. The quasi-judicial rules under state law are 10 to 25 days. That was not done. But more importantly, Another part of state law is there's supposed to be a posting on the property about this hearing. There is no such posting. There is no sign. There
That's
is-
not required.
that-
Could
according to
someone speak to
statute,
that? You guys have been sworn in. Can you
So-
speak to that, please, staff?
No,
Okay.
it's,
That's-
again, that's another, something that's not required under our development ordinance. Under
Thank
the
you.
there are multiple types of special use permits, right? And different types of quasi judicial hearings. There's variances, there's special use permits, there's certificate of appropriateness. Board of Adjustment variances and special use permits all have to follow that same kind of quasi judicial, as you mentioned, 10 to 25 days. But it states inside of our development ordinance, and even probably based on state statute, is essentially it's 7 days prior to any hearing. And that is any application that we have submitted or has been submitted to you all for major review. It has been sent out in that exact same time frame. Our development ordinance also does not require any site postings to be put out there either. It requires that it is essentially sent out to all the surrounding property owners during that time. And of course, for the special meeting, we followed that. We did that within more than 48 hours notice. We posted it where it was supposed to be on the website. We even blasted it out on the Facebook page as well on social media.
Yeah.
So in my, again, testimony, we did all that we needed to do by our development ordinance.
And
requirements.
Madam Chairman, the difference is this, and it's key. He is citing the development ordinance for the city of Graham. I'm citing state law.
The state
law-
grants the city of Graham to regulate properties. Or-
The state law says the notice must be deposited in the mail at least 10 days, but not more than 25 days prior to the date of the hearing. Within that same time period, the local government shall also prominently post a notice of the hearing on the site that is the subject of the hearing or on an adjacent street or highway right-of-way. That's North Carolina law. That overrides the city's ordinances. And so the city did not comply with state law on either part of the notification. And so I would say, Madam Chairman, that this hearing is frankly premature in that you haven't given proper adequate notice as required by state law.
Sir, we, Mr. Holland, Mr. West, Mr.
I've given you my,
He's already gave us the,
I would ask, I mean, again, like we have established that there is no standing.
there's no standing, so,
Gave y'all my interpretation and understanding of the development ordinance and was.
and our attorney is sitting here. Do you have,
What
you
yeah,
support,
what is your
but
take?
Mr. West has said, excuse me, 1 second.
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
Okay, so. Right. Okay, so sir, what we're gonna have to do is
Well,
gonna
but
have
I'd
to.
like to get an
omit you-
answer from the attorney on whether these provisions apply to the city of Graham.
Well, that isn't what this meeting's
what I-
about.
Yeah.
You need
we
to sit
want you
down.
To prove
Yeah.
or prove you wrong or any of that. You can bring this back and I would probably.
When, Madam Chair?
This isn't the right place for
This is
this.
Right, I think the city council would be more fitting for your needs. And you can bring this on their agenda. You can reach out to the city council. And because that's not something we even have any
Authority.
authority to say we disagree or agree with you. We don't
Yeah.
want to get in a battle with you, but we're going to ask that at this time, if you would please just take your seat and understand that what you're presenting tonight is not within standings. And I don't know how other to say it, and I want to be as clear as possible. What you're presenting tonight is not for this board.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
No, it's not.
This
No, it's
board
not.
has
Madam,
called
can we
a
just,
public.
can we just
meeting.
we just need to make a motion and just squash this, to stop it now.
What you did.
Well, on his first one we did. We got to do it on the second one because he brought up a different fact.
Okay.
No, I think there's been an establishment.
Yeah, we've already
There's
established that.
been an
even.
establishment.
There
of
is no standings.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what do we do now?
Just needs to sit
Just
down.
Have him sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your interest. Okay, are there any other parties here tonight that are that have, must have legal standing? If so, please feel free to come up and state your name and your address, and then we can also hear from you. Any other person? No one else?
Madam Chairman, may I ask?
Shall we close the, closest? here?
No.
Okay. So,
Ma-
yeah,
ma-
we're not, I'm sir, I'm sorry. And I hate to have to reiterate this again, but we're not going to be able
Madam-
to hear from you tonight.
Madam Chairman, my question now is not even to make a statement, is to ask questions.
Yes.
Questions are not,
Yeah.
We're not the ones who can't. I promise you, if we could do it, we would hear from you. We would not.
well, let me just cover a couple of them quick.
have
No,
that
no.
authority.
There's no
Sir,
mention.
sir, you need to sit down.
I appreciate it, sir. You all are not following state statute.
And
You're-
that's based on your opinion, and please take that up
Please-
with the
please take a
people that
seat.
are above our pay grade, which is 0. Take that up with the city council. We have no authority over that particular item. And, we know that you have, you're very,
Yes, ma'am.
adamant about being heard, but we're
Yes,
telling
ma'am.
you consistently that
And
we
now-
cannot hear that.
And now
Or
I
make a
raise
decision.
questions based on my role as a reporter with the Alamance News, not as a property owner, but with the Alamance News.
This isn't the forum
That's
for
it.
that.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
it is.
No, it's not.
Y'all are having a public hearing on.
No, we're not.
Judicial.
We're not.
That's the way it was advertised.
No.
From
that-
your newspaper, I did hear someone read an article from your newspaper that I could not discuss because this is a quasi judicial hearing. So I could not discuss that, but I did hear that it was publicized from your newspaper. It was a public hearing.
Yes, ma'am, because the clerk of the city sent out a notice that said a public hearing would be held tonight at 6 o'clock. That's what the notice says. You look it up.
We don't
And
have
they
that.
sent it out last
Sent it
week
out.
and said,
Sir, at this time, will you please take your seat? Thank you. Okay. Can I just close the meeting? Go back and circle back to the park itself. Yeah, that's fine. Sir, if you please take your seat, and I'd like to have a motion to close this public hearing, please.
I move so.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Oh, sorry, no one got up, sorry.
You'll need to get sworn in for testimony.
Oh, to take your time.
I withdraw my motion.
I draw my second. I didn't see no hands.
Yeah.
Didn't either.
Yeah.
Please state for the record your name, address, and relation to the case.
My name is Eileen Massengill. I live at 114 Albright Avenue, and I own the building that houses our Coffee Depot.
Okay,
Jury won't have anywhere to park. Plus, what are you planning on putting
Okay,
on?
so-
Hold on.
ma'am, we just went through that. Now, what I'm gonna ask you, the same thing I asked him, so we can be fair. Are you here to present any evidence or any information that must have legal standing? Are you doing that? Or are you talking about the parking? Where are we?
Okay, I own the building.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the parking for my building,
Okay. Okay, so I'm very sorry. But we are not going to be able to go back over what we just went over because the evidence of standing may include proximity to the subject property, damage to property values, and secondary impacts from the requested development. And if that is what you're going to state here tonight, we would love to hear it. Unless it does, we won't be able to hear that. So if you wish to act as a party, you've already been sworn in, so that part was good. But now if you can just give us the evidence to establish that you will suffer special damages from the request of this park being built.
Are you attaching anything to my building? Like, I don't want a painting.
No, ma'am.
You're not painting my building.
No,
No,
that-
ma'am. No, ma'am. In order for the picture was only given a
It's a,
graphic.
it's a rendering.
You're still
Yes.
trying to establish standing, by the way.
Yeah, we,
I'm looking
Okay,
at the side of my
okay, I'm sorry.
building.
Let me establish your standing. I'm sorry. I'm very,
yeah, you.
Okay, you just keep interrupting. Go ahead.
no, you're fine. You go ahead and, because we're still wanting you to establish your standing.
Okay, can I speak
I-
now? I
Well-
mean, okay, I want to know if you're going to paint the side of my, what?
We have to damage to your property values.
We can't. And are you putting anything attached to it? Like
No, ma'am.
benches? I don't want anything
No, ma'am.
attached to it.
No, ma'am, nothing attached to your building.
Okay, and no paintings on my building? No paintings?
No, yes, I can. Yes, ma'am, go ahead. No paintings. If there were going to be someone that proposed that a painting goes on your building, which it would hopefully be you,
No.
it would still have to come back to this board, and it would still have to have a certificate of appropriateness, and we would still have to be voted on, and we would have to go through a procedure. So you would definitely be informed, but we would not just subsequently come out and start painting your building or putting a mural on your building or anything of that nature without your permission or your involvement. And if you decided one day, oh, I would like some flowers there, painted on my building. If you decided that, then you would come to this board with a certificate of appropriateness. We would go over the materials that you were going to be using, the dimensions of your mural, and then we would do the voting right here. So to answer your question tonight, no, ma'am, we do not have any intentions of painting on your building, and no, ma'am, nothing will be attached to your building.
Okay,
This proposal, is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, but thank you for coming to ask. Yes, thank you so much. And I apologize, but I did want to answer her questions and make sure she's clear. And I think that was appropriate. And so being chair, I made that call. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so are there any other persons?
Can I just get clarification on something?
You need to come
to
forward,
come-
please, sir, and be sworn in. And once you are sworn in, then you can go to the mic. But I cannot answer you from the floor. We would still need you to come and be sworn in. Are there any other persons? If not, well, ma'am, please feel free to come back up and just, does she need to be sworn in again? No.
She has to establish legal standing.
Just
You guys have
just
to make a motion.
establish the legal standing
Yeah,
of your questions and your, a line of questions. I opened it up, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Please, state your name again and your address.
my name is Aline Massengill. I live at 114 Albright Avenue. The
Yes.
building in question was my grandfather's, and it was Christocola. And I'm asking now, will my tenant have parking beside of my building?
hey, let's,
Okay, so the
Uh,
legal standings is
yeah.
what we're looking
Okay,
for.
so I have no legal ground.
This is something you would have to speak with the city council about. You would bring that to them so they can,
hold on.
but
I move that we vote on her legal standing,
Yes,
Right, okay,
and I move to approve it,
I second
okay. To approve,
that she,
her legal standing.
so.
based on proximity. Yeah.
No,
Wait a minute.
again, no, you have a motion and a second, all in favor. You have to ask, because,
Okay,
yeah,
so all in favor, we all agree.
Well, no,
you have to ask.
Right, okay, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, carried. Okay, ma'am, ask your,
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can ask your question.
ask your question, please.
So this building has been in my family for over 100 years. My grandfather built it. I'm asking, can my tenant still park there? And I assume the answer is no.
No, that's correct.
I think that might be better answered by the
I-
applicant.
I think that
But
Now what?
he's gonna come and answer. We're gonna need patience from everyone, so she can get a clear answer on what she's asking for. And guys, if you can hold down your private conversations for now, and so we can hear from her. She's saying that we're over talking, and so we want to make sure she's clear. And I think we have someone here, Mr. Holland. He will be able to answer your question. Mr. Holland, please.
Thank you, Chair. So the city's parking lot there is shaped like sort of like a number 7 or weird shape, backwards R, depends on how you look at it. But the city parking lot in the back still is gonna have parking, for the public to be able to use. Obviously, with the park being in the location where it's being proposed, you would not have parking in that location. You would have additional parking, a few spots there on the front of the park, because you wouldn't be able to drive through it anymore. So that area there would now be constituted with parking spaces on the front side on West Elm Street. The city does not have reserved parking for anyone. So I don't want to speak for the commission. It's public parking. So it's not dedicated to any particular staff of any business there. So, but you would still have the availability on the backside as well as the few on the street there.
Does that, okay, you answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any other persons present that wish to be sworn in at this time? Anyone else? Okay,
I move that we close the public hearing.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Is there a motion to approve
Ma-
with
Madam
conditions or
Chairman.
deny the certificate of appropriateness
What
application?
I would like to. do is
That's
ask
what
a
we're
few
getting ready to go
questions
to now. So
that
I'm
are-
gonna
that
have
are
to
not
ask you to
part-
please
are not
take
a
your
part of-
seat. We're not in that session. We've
No,
already
I know the
closed
public
the
hearing
hearing.
is over. That's
Yeah,
fine.
And
That's why.
we're
I
getting
waited
ready
tonight.
now to make our vote about the park and the
Yes, ma'am.
material
And
that's
what I'm
presented
wanting to
to us
know
tonight.
is the city council has consistently said we're going to move the bricks from Sesquicentennial Park to this park. But it's not shown on any of the plans. It's not mentioned in the narrative.
So-
Same thing with the gazebo. The gazebo was allegedly going to be moved from the current park to this park. That's not.
I'm
been
gonna have to
signed or
ask you, to
shown.
please take your seat. We need to move forward with the meeting at this
With
time.
all due respect, you're moving forward without answering basic questions that the public is entitled to know.
This is
You-
not a public hearing.
That is what the
it-
statement said. Did you look it up?
It's not a public hearing. I'm sorry. I don't know what the statement said, but I know what I've been informed, and I have not seen anything that tells me this is a public hearing. So I have to adhere to what I
Well,
have.
but again, that part's over. I'm still trying to find out. Well, they finished the public hearing, and my questions are about the bricks, the
So,
gazebo,
John, have
and
you
even
not
the
been
name.
entertained?
The name
You've
of
been
the
able
park
to look
is
at
not
what we are here to vote
included.
on tonight. So let's go back to
Yeah,
where
let's-
we are and what we're here to vote on tonight.
Okay.
Gonna have to,
So, yeah, I mean, it's,
so I looked at the actual, we talked about the flat top.
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
Would
Yeah.
not have to come back to us for the
Yeah,
flat top, okay?
the-
So we
the roof
established
pitch.
that, and then we're gonna repitch that.
Let's,
the
what,
grass was
let's
another,
work
the
on the
turf-
grass. Let's,
the turf was another issue. Please feel free.
Let's talk about the
Thank you.
grass.
So I look at places like Tanger. They
Right.
just redid an area. And when I was up there the other day, I asked the guy, they spent $27,000 fixing one area and they put artificial turf on.
Right.
I asked them why. Maintenance. We come
Right.
by, we blow it off. And half the times when you don't have to do that, he said. So with that, I agree with the artificial turf. The quality of the artificial turf is superior.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Like they were saying, if you got if it turns into a football field or a bunch of kids running around, it'll be turned into a muck mire. And I think it'd be
Yeah.
a problem. So my opinion, my vote would be sticking with the turf.
Yeah, I mean, I personally always want grass, trees, plants, but it's such a small area. And yeah, I mean, it'd kind of be a hassle to have grass there. What if it started dying? You know, you have to deal with that constantly too.
Manpower, water.
Again, I mean, it really, in my opinion, doesn't matter. It's
No, your opinion
No,
matters.
you're-
Well,
in
it's-
fact, you're part of this board,
it's-
Ben, what do you,
it's what the rules say, and the rules
Yeah,
say
we can do either
we,
or.
we prefer grass.
Yeah.
But it
but
doesn't say
it's
that we
not-
have to do the grass, so I can't really vote against it
Yes, sir.
because that's not what the rules say.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm fine with it as it's labeled for that.
It
purpose.
actually still fits. Other
Thank you.
long,
It
other
does-
low green.
It does say,
Yeah.
other coverings, so I think grass is fine.
Yes, sir.
Grass is fine, we
Okay.
only have just the one, thing
Wait a minute,
about the.
you're saying grass. Are you
Oh,
saying
I'm so
grass?
sorry,
What if
turf,
it's just-
Saying
turf.
turf.
A turf is
Okay,
fine, yes.
we'll go
thank you.
With
Yeah.
that,
Um,
anything else,
it
Ms.
fits.
Ennis?
Trees and shrubs. It doesn't explicitly specify.
But
in
Aaron
here.
said
So-
that we
We're
have our
gonna get back
arborist.
to us, the arborist is working on that part.
Okay, so how do we make sure that,
Well, we're gonna ask that they be included maybe when it comes back with the pitch, with the flat roof.
I'm getting the feeling they don't want it to come back. They want it to leave here. to-
yeah, we don't
Well,
want
yeah,
to.
that's the
yeah.
thing, is like if you,
Yeah.
if you approve it with the condition that the roof be a flat pitch, there's not coming back in front of you.
Right,
essentially.
Right,
All right, so the trees, what type of trees? It's not included here. So are you gonna?
I mean,
We have,
it needs to be,
green
it needs to be
arborists that we have to trust. in the
local,
entire city.
local trees.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that's the only stipulation that I would have.
Yeah.
And
any-
we, and
based on our
Mr.
guidelines.
Covington has already stated there are certain type of trees that we can no longer plant. So they are
Correct.
very up on
So
what
if-
is appropriate and what.
I-
not.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, this idea of trees and plants.
Excuse me 1 second. We're going to have to keep the noise level down. These microphones are very sensitive and they pick up every little sound. So if you could please just keep your conversations to zero, not a minimum, but to zero while we are discussing and we're in session. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So along with planting, in respect to what is already in the area, like I had mentioned before, is having local trees, having local plants that are native is going to be incredibly important, because one, that's going to cut down on watering, and that's a safety measure for, what's happening right now in our world. And they're just better for the environment that, we're trying to create. So I'm looking at, I know what you're talking about with your trees that break apart. But I think the big thing for me is this pollinator plantings, making sure that, if we're taking away something, that we're adding value to Graham.
Your
If we're
concern is that whether or not if we're taking
Well,
away
if
from
we're-
the value of the property?
Yeah, that
You guys.
added
right?
value is that we're helping pollinators. We're thinking about the environmental impact that a
I would
place
only
like that
speak to
could
that
do.
and just say that we have very experienced arborists. We have very experienced landscaping
I've talked to
here
them.
in the city of Graham. I don't think that they are going to go against the grain as far as what is good and what's not. I think they are very trained in that area. I wouldn't want to have to try to make that call from this board because that's out of, again, my scope of knowledge. So just
Can-
based on what's here, I would say the landscape and the environmental features are there. If you look,
Can we
Mr.
put,
Holland, did you want to, okay.
can we put that they're just native
Yes, please.
trees and
Local.
plantings?
Local, native.
Local native,
Native,
can we just make sure of that?
okay, so,
I mean, that's like what we're supposed to be doing, so we
okay,
can do that.
absolutely, that's within our scope.
So
So we're saying
local-
local native,
native trees and plants.
Plants.
okay?
Everyone
I
Yes,
agree.
good with that?
yes,
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay.
yes.
I agree.
So,
So that'd be a change.
so flat pitched roof and local native trees and shrubs
Yeah.
or
Okay.
plants, whatever they are. Yep, cool.
Right.
Any other,
All right, any
Issues,
concerns,
yeah.
any other issues, anything else, anybody applying to
I'll,
discuss?
if you don't mind me adding, I guess, and there's, what Jonathan drafted is your draft motion essentially as a part of the staff report. There is a finding of facts section of it. Essentially, you're describing like what you talked about, Mr. Ben, of like these specific sections, finding of facts that this is essentially compatible with the historical land book. So whenever you are making this motion, essentially the finding of facts find that it is consistent with X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
And then if you all want to move forward with the approval with conditions, just follow up with that afterwards,
Okay.
just so it's a clean motion.
So
essentially.
that's
So,
under this.
now we're getting ready to go into, Mr. Holland, did you need to add something?
No, ma'am. Usually whenever conditions are placed on the applicant just has to make sure to agree to everything that's being thrown.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Mr.
think, I think what we have, had questions about was the flat pitched roof and the local native trees and plants. That's
No
it.
problem.
Okay. Is there nothing else? Okay. I'm ready to read the motion. Is everybody, ready to read? Now I'm going to read the motion.
You're gonna make the motion?
Yes. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Fine down here?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you so much. I have thoroughly researched the application and all other documents related to COA 2603, and I am familiar with the property in question. And I find that produced in accordance with the plan submitted, the proposed changes will be compatible to, with the flat pitch roof and the local native trees, with the character of the mid-19th century courthouse square historic district, excuse me. I move to approve with conditions for COA 2603 for the property located at 129 West Elm Street as submitted because it does meet the following criteria. Okay, so, we don't have to table it. So, can I get a second? I make a motion that we
Yeah.
move to approve as
I second that.
noticed, okay? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. So it's been approved. The next thing we will have on the agenda, for discussion tonight, we would like to, definitely welcome our new committee members
Thank
tonight.
you.
We're excited about that. Thank you so much. State your name, please.
Richard Shevlin.
And ma'am,
Sandy Hall.
okay, we like to welcome them, wholeheartedly to this board. We've been waiting on your arrival now for, a while. So it's good to have you here. City Council, do you have any updates at this time, Mr. Young? Thank you so much. Yes, it is. And staff update, sir, Mr.
Nothing as of now,
But-
other than the new members. We had some inquiries about some potential COA applications, but we haven't gotten anything in yet. So
Yep.
yeah, we'll let you know.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, I move that this meeting be adjourned. Thank you.
Second.
Oh, aye.
Aye.
We always need some